Hey, thanks for joining me today. My name's Steph, and this is Harmonic Light Yoga. We're going to start out today in Supta Baddha Konasana, so gently roll onto your backs, soles of feet touching, knees fall open. If this is too much on your hips, you can place blocks under your knees, or you can leave your knees pointing skyward, feet planted onto the mat. Whatever posture you adopt with your lower half of your body, take your palms to your navel, one right below, one right above your belly button. And take a moment to connect with your breath and to settle into this space. Feeling expansion on your inhale and a settling or grounding sensation on the exhale. Drawing in prana, drawing in life force energy on the inhale, and exhaling to sweetly sink more deeply into the earth. Remain here with your focus on your breath as I read you a small excerpt from the Radiance Sutras. The life essence carries on its play through the pulsing rhythm of outward and inward movement. This is the ceaseless throb, the rhythm of life, terrifying in its eternity, exquisite in its constancy. The inhalation, the return movement of breath, sustains life. The outgoing breath purifies life. These are the two poles between which respiration goes unceasingly. Between them is every delight you could desire. Take one more deep inhale in this position. And with an exhale, you can use your hands to help draw your knees together. And then draw your knees into chest, nose towards knees. You can take some small movements here, perhaps rocking side to side, rocking forward and backward. We'll take this until we rock into a seated position. And then we'll just roll forward over our crossed knees, setting ourselves up in tabletop so that we can then curl toes and lift hips into downward facing dog. Take a moment here to check in with your down dog. You can bend your knees as much as they're calling for right now. Thinking of actively pushing the mat down and away with your palms. Looking for that straight line from crown to tailbone. And we'll take a moment to introduce some fluidity into this down dog position. So with our focus on that radiant, sweet breath, the inhale, the purifying exhale, we're now going to start syncing up movement with that breath. So inhale, rise to your toes. Exhale, roll forward into a plank, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, bend your knees gently as you push back. Exhale, straighten legs into down dog. Inhale up on your toes. Exhale, roll forward to plank. Inhale, bend knees, push back. Exhale, straighten legs, downward dog. Let's go through a couple more cycles of that to the pace of your own breath. The next time you make your way back to downward dog, we'll hold here. Inhaling, finding expansion, finding space. And exhale, gaze forward, move to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up, palms meet overhead. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, hinge at the hips, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant palms, right toes step back. Rest for a moment here in this lunge. Engaging through that back right leg, pulling both hips in toward midline, pushing into the mat and your left toe mound. And then plant your hands, step toes back on an inhale, and then on an exhale, lower your body to the earth. All 10 toes and pelvis root into the mat as you inhale up to cobra. And exhale back to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale to the mat. Now walk your hands a bit wider than mat's width. And you're going to inhale up into cobra and hold here. And we'll then exhale, left shoulder dip, gaze over right shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, right shoulder dips, gaze over left. Take that one more time to each side, inhaling for center. Exhaling to feel that stretch in the front of your shoulder girdle. Inhale to center. Exhale, dip. And we'll inhale to center. Exhale back to the mat. Palms under shoulders, toes curl under, and you can work either through tabletop or through plank to then push back to downward facing dog. Gaze forward as you step right toes to the top of your mat. Just waking up that left hip flexor, maybe getting a bit into that right hamstring with this low lunge. Your next inhale, left toes meet right and forward fold. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up. Palms meet overhead. Hands to heart center. Now step your feet together, either toes touching or feet about hip distance apart, whatever feels better on your body. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, sit back into chair pose. So you want your weight in your heels. You could even play around with lifting your toes here. Notice if your low ribs have splayed out, invite them back toward each other. Shooting energy reaching through your fingertips. Perhaps looking up. Perhaps finding the corners of your mouth raise into a smile. One more inhale here. And exhale, dive forward over straight legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant hands, step back. Inhale to plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra. And exhale back to downward facing dog. And I'm going to inhale, right toes high, keeping your hips squared to the mat. So right toes pointing mat or pointing even a bit towards the left to help accommodate that. Reaching through your inner right thigh seam, continuing to tuck your left hip back. Inhale here. And exhale. Draw right foot forward. Plant left foot to set up for warrior one as you rise on an inhale. So checking in with this warrior one. Right knee over ankle. Firing up through the quad of your left leg. Both hips drawing toward midline. To give us a really steady base, a very steady foundation here, from which our torso can easily rise. Notice if you're wearing your shoulders as earrings and invite them to relax lower down your back. Continually dialing that left hip forward, right hip back to keep them squared towards the front of your mat. Relishing every breath, taking joy in the inhales, and finding a sweet surrender on your exhale. All right, bring your focus to your right foot, and we're going to inhale, step forward into one-legged Tadasana, one-leg mountain pose. So inhale, straighten your right leg, lift your left, hold your left foot flexed as if you're stepping on a stair here. Take a moment to reorient and find balance here. And then we'll cross left ankle over right knee and sit down into a figure four stretch. So similar to that chair position that we were working before. Of course, now all of our weight is supported in our right leg. Keep a flex in your left foot to help protect your left knee joint. Sitting lower into your chair if it's calling you. Well, rising up through the chest. You don't want to be bowed over or bent forward over that knee. You want to still have some upright nature to this posture. One more deep breath in. One more grounding breath out. Next inhale, we can release this posture. And with control, step those left toes back into warrior one. All right, straighten that front right leg. We'll give that leg a bit of a break. And you may want to take your stance a bit shorter, so shorter distance between front and back foot. You're going to keep your left foot grounded into the earth at that 45-degree angle like we're in warrior one. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips as you fold over that extended right leg. This is a great place to use bricks if you got them. Your fingertips can also grab your shin. Thinking of maintaining a straight spine from tail to crown here as we rest in pyramid pose. And just take this shape however it comes for you. If you need to bring a bend into that front knee, think of pushing actively into your right big toe mound, and that's going to move the stretch into the meat of your hamstring rather than pulling on our connective tissue. Inhaling deeply, and exhale completely. Now take your left fingertips and walk them slightly forward and tent them kind of on the ground so we're not putting too much weight into that left hand as we inhale, right fingertips high into our revolved pose here. So continue thinking of tacking that right hip back so we get this twist more in our spine than in our hips. Notice what thoughts may be coming up. And without trying to change them or without trying to move anything, just acknowledge them as they float on past. All right, now bring your attention back to that front right foot. Bring a bend into your right knee, and we're going to inhale, torso up, into a revolved warrior one. So your left fingertips are forward, right fingertips are back. We're now bent again over that front right knee. Gaze over those extended right fingertips. And we'll inhale, arms high. Exhale, hands meet mat. Inhale to plank. Make your way through your vinyasa. So we'll all meet in downward dog. And take a moment here to notice sensation. Notice what may feel different from the moment you stepped on your mat until now. Inhale, left toes high, hips squared towards the mat. Lifting through that inner left thigh seam, pushing the mat away with your hands, tacking right hip back, reach on the inhale. And exhale, left toes draw forward, right foot plants, setting us up for warrior one on an inhale. Drawing in energy, drawing in prana on your inhale. And exhale, sweetly sinking more deeply into the mat. Inhale finds an upward gaze and a smile. Exhale, find some tension that you may be able to let go. With your focus on your left foot, our next inhale will take us to one-legged Tadasana, one-legged mountain pose, with our right foot stepping on that imaginary stair here. Take a moment to settle here before crossing right ankle over left knee, hands in prayer at heart center, and you can sit back into that kind of figure four seated chair pose, the seat being implied. Again, flexing that right foot back towards your knee is going to protect that joint. And we'll inhale, rise back to mountain pose. As you then slowly, with control, step right toes back into warrior one. Inhale, gaze up. Perhaps find a smile. And exhale, settle. Inhale, drawing in all of the energy, all of the beauty and joy, and exhaling to release what doesn't serve you. We'll now straighten that front left leg, and perhaps stepping right toes in a bit to accommodate for pyramid pose. Inhale, arms high. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips as you continue tacking that left hip back in space. And we'll meet in pyramid pose on this side. Again, this is a perfect place for bricks. You can rest your fingertips lightly on your shin, fingers towards mat, thinking of prioritizing a straight spine rather than just kind of collapsing over down towards your knee. If you actively push into the mat with your left toe mound, you'll feel your left leg kind of firing up in a different way, allowing you to really get the full benefit of this stretch. Right fingertips walk slightly forward as you inhale, left hand high into twisted pyramid pose, or revolved pyramid. So again, thinking of tacking that left hip backward in space, not dumping all of your weight into your right hand. Firing up through your legs, keeping engagement through your base is going to allow you to lighten up that reliance on the earth. Noticing thoughts as they may arise and realizing that we don't need to identify with them. Just because a thought pops into your head doesn't mean it provides any value or has any relation to do with us. Without judgment and without trying to change anything, just notice and see what shift may come. Bring your focus to those left toes as you bring a bend into your left knee. We're going to inhale, rise into revolved warrior one. So with left fingertips back, right fingertips forward. Gaze over your left fingers. We'll now inhale, both arms high. Exhale, hands down to the mat. We're just going to step back into downward dog here. And check in with yourself. Notice sensation. Notice what thoughts or feelings may have come up. And gently release any of those that do not serve you. Drop your knees to your mat, knees wide, toes touch, and we'll sit back into child's pose. So heels over, or hips over heels. Arms can reach forward or they can come down beside you. And take a moment to breathe into your back body, to receive in this heart space. Your next inhale draws you to tabletop. And exhale, you can just check in with your alignment. Shoulders over wrists, knees under hips. Go through a couple rounds of cat-cow here. Inhaling to cow, dropping your belly broad across your collarbones, broad sits bones. Exhaling, curving into your spine, navel to spine as your gaze goes inward. Inhale, find that length in the front body. And exhale, length across your back body. Next inhale draws you to a neutral tabletop. Left hand walks towards center, right under your face. Inhale, right fingertips high. A few circles of that wrist. Reach on the inhale. And then exhale, we're going to thread that needle and come to a rest on the outside of your right arm, and your right ear meets mat. Left fingertips can walk forward. As you continue to witness that beautiful interplay between inhale and exhale, between the expansion and the contraction. You can walk your left hand in front of your face, and then inhale, reach those right fingertips back toward the sky. And actually we'll walk our left hands about one palm print forward. You can kickstand out your left toes. We'll briefly come into a side plank with the knee assist here. Again, just breathing that expansion, that joy, and exhaling, releasing anything that doesn't serve us. We'll meet back in tabletop. Right fingers under face. Inhale, left palm high. A few wrist circles on that lifted wrist. And exhale, we'll thread the needle, come into rest on our left side. Palm walks in front of face as you inhale, left arm high. Kickstand out your right toes as you come into this kind of modified side plank on your other side. And we'll meet back in tabletop. Alright, you can now come to a seat on your mat. We'll come into cobbler's pose, so soles of feet together, knees wide. You can grab on your feet here to pull yourself tall. Again, thinking of fostering that length from tail to crown. And you can stay right here, or if you choose, you can begin to fold forward. Folding forward as far as you can with a straight spine, before then allowing yourself to curve over and rest in this pose. You can slowly rise on an inhale. Extend your legs in front of you and invite a light shake. Right, now we're going to bend right knee in. And we're going to twist towards the right-hand side. So you can take your right knee either on the opposite side of your left leg or inside. And then inhale, right arm high. Exhale, hook your elbow to knee and twist toward the back of your space. Apologies for the background noise. And inhale, find center. Shake that out a bit. Exhale, left foot outside of right leg. Inhale, hey. Inhale, arm high. And exhale, find your twist. Hey. You'll inhale back to center. You can now make your way onto your back. Knees bent, feet planted. Palms face down by your sides. You're going to inhale, find bridge. Pushing into your feet. Noticing if your knees have splayed outward and inviting them back to center. Reveling in the joy of each inhale and the surrender of each exhale. One more inhale as you press your hips higher. And exhale, slowly roll down to the mat. If any final postures are calling you, now is the time to take them. Otherwise, you can recline back into Shavasana. As you rest here in Shavasana with your focus on your breath, I'll again read that excerpt from the Radiant Sutras. The life essence carries on its play through the pulsing rhythm of outward and inward movement. This is the ceaseless throb, the rhythm of life, terrifying in its eternity, exquisite in its constancy. The inhalation, the return movement of breath, sustains life. The outgoing breath purifies life. These are the two poles between which respiration goes unceasingly. Between them is every delight you could desire. You can remain here in Shavasana or make your way into fetal position on either side. Breathing deeply, filling yourself up with that life-sustaining prana, and exhaling to purify and only hold on to what serves you. Make your way to a seated position. We'll close our practice here with the sound of one Om. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale to Om. Bring your hands to eyebrow center. The light in me recognizes and honors the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.